Hi, in this tutorial we're going to set up the wave counter system, and also we're going to have a start game function so the waves won't send until we put down our first tower. Alright, let's dig in. First thing we want to do is select our asset spawner. We've got one for wave 1. We're going to name it wave 1 spawner. Keep it labeled because we'll need this for later on. Next we're going to add a toggle. We're going to have this toggle switched off at the start. We're going to turn it on when wave.1 is triggered. We're going to go ahead and duplicate this, and we're going to change wave 1 to wave 2. We're also going to change the preset from wave 1 to wave 2. We can keep the spawn wave function, that's not a problem. We'll go ahead and stack these two. Now we need a message to send to trigger on wave 1 so the spawns begin. Now we did build towers with a message, and that message we used was to check the tower if we got enough money, and then it sends a message to spawn a tower. So we'll go to our rule system, and here you can see when we build a tower, we've got build tower 1. So when we've got enough money, that's the message that gets sent out. So what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate one of these numpads, and we're going to add a message broadcaster. Get rid of the asker, put on a message. And this one here will trigger the message. Build tower 1. We will send a message wave 1, or we can just do start waves. The reason we're going to do start waves, so we can have a countdown between building a tower and the waves beginning, which gives the player a bit of time. So we'll go back to our rule system, and we're going to add a variable. We'll add a rule. We'll add a rule time, and it will be start timer. That start timer will be start waves. We're going to use a variable. We have none for time, so we're going to go ahead and create one. We'll just call it start timer. We don't want to show this timer. It will just happen in the background, and the rest doesn't matter. We'll go ahead and select that, and the duration we want is 3 seconds. Then after 3 seconds, it will send a message wave 1. So this will be our gap between building a tower and the waves beginning. You can change it from 3 seconds to 5 seconds to whatever you want. Alright, we'll go ahead and test that out, make sure that all works. So no waves should be coming out at the beginning like the previous examples, because we added a toggle and turned that one off. And it should turn on as soon as we build a tower, and then it will spawn within 3 seconds. So we've built our tower. After 3 seconds, you can see we've got spawnage, which is great. But now we don't have anything to say how many are going to spawn before the waves stop, and then have a break, and then spawn the next wave, which is wave 2. So we'll go ahead and set that up. Alright, so we're going to use the tag that we put on the mobs earlier called mob. So what we'll do here is we'll duplicate. We can actually add it to any one of these. So we got wave 1 spawner, and that spawns wave 1. We'll use that one, and we'll go ahead and put a volume. And we'll edit that logic. And you only need this on the first spawner. We only need one of these, so don't put it on each asset spawner, just on the first one. And we'll just make it the box. And we'll make it 2 by 2 by 2. And when we enter, we want to send a message to specific tags in range is the detection. That would be mob. We can make it a bit smaller because they spawn right on top, so it's okay. but we can adjust it if it doesn't work. And the message we want to send is wave -1. We'll go ahead and just click that. We don't need an argument for this one. So each time a mob is spawned, it gets detected and sends the message wave -1 to all. We can do it to the rule system specifically. I'll just do all for this one. Now let's go to the rule system. And what we need here is a math rule. We can put it in here to keep it neat. And the math rule we'll have is, I think just add and subtract in this case. I'm going to add the message wave -1. I'll zoom in a bit so you can see that better. I'm going to have to add a new variable for this one. So this one here will be wave counter. Now you can show it at the start if you want to see it working, but you can have that one hidden. And the value we want is 0 at the beginning. We'll go ahead and create that and select it here. Next, we want to -1 each time that the wave is sent. So wave counter will decrease by 1. And then we want to send a message to check wave counter. Now we want to check if the value is 0 or not, because if it's 0, then we can move on to the next wave. So we'll go ahead and add a comparison and check numbers. Here we're going to do check wave counter, and we want to check the wave counter, and we want to see if it equals 0. If it does equal 0, we want to go to the next wave. So we'll add in next wave, and we want to send, we want to increase how much we're going to send per wave. So in this case, we're going to change a variable. So we're going to go to rules. We're going to change a variable, and we're going to set a number value. And this is what we're going to use to determine what the value of wave counter is going to be. Awesome. We do need a message argument for this one. So we're going to close this. And we're going to go ahead and duplicate one of these assets. We're going to remove the asker. And we're going to have a message broadcast. And we're also going to have a toggle. Awesome. Actually, I don't think we need a toggle in this case. Just a message broadcast. And what we're going to do here is set.wave. And we're going to set the wave with an argument. And we're going to add a number, and set wave counter will be the name of that argument. So when we send a message set wave, it's going to set wave to the counter that requests this message. So if we want the first wave to send 10, we're going to go ahead and send that to the rule system, and the message we're going to wait for that to work is wave.1. So when the message wave.1 gets sent, it's going to send a message set wave, and it's going to add 10. So let's go to our rule system, go to our game rules, and here we're going to set.wave. So that means that's going to be sent to the set number variable. It's going to listen for that. It's going to check the wave counter, and then it's going to use the message argument and set that value. So that value is going to be 10. Now when the waves begin, the volume at the beginning will detect the tag mob and send a message wave -1, and it will take away 1 from the wave counter. When the wave counter equals 0, it will send a message next wave. And next wave will be sent, we'll duplicate, to a timed event. And here we're going to wait for message, and it's going to be next wave. And we're going to say wait 8 seconds. And then after 8 seconds, it's going to send the message wave 2. We're going to need a toggle for this one, because once wave 2 is sent, we want to turn this one off. And what we can do now is duplicate this one. We'll put it next to it so it's easy. We don't want this one to be on at the start, and we don't want any message to turn it off. We want to turn this on with wave.2. And that will be the next wave, and it will wait 8 seconds and then send a message wave.3. And you do that for each wave. So all you do here now is duplicate this and just change the wave number. So from wave 3 to wave 4, and then from wave 2 to wave 3. But you need the message to turn it off. So wave 4, we'll turn this one off. And for the one over here, wave 3 will turn itself off. And this one here should have wave 2 to turn it off. You don't need a message to turn this one on because it's automatically on at the beginning. Alright, so now that you got the message wave 2 and wave 3, you can go ahead and put that here. So that means on wave 2, it will send a message to the rule system that you want 10 in that wave. But if you want 15 in a wave, all you need to do is duplicate this asset and just change the number from 10 to 15 and put whatever wave you want here. Just make sure you don't double up on the waves. So don't put wave 1 on this and wave 1 on that one, because then it will double up. So we'll put wave.3. So on wave 3, when that message gets sent, it will set the variable to 15. So 15 will get released. And if you have wave 1 and 2, only 10 will get released. There will be 8-second gap between waves. And that should all work. So I'll go ahead and save that one, and we'll test that out and see if that works as intended. So go ahead, tower 1 and tower 1, and we can't build anymore. We got not enough money. So you can see now we get 1 money for each time an enemy dies. And we should have 10 at the end of the wave. And as you can see, it didn't work. We are missing something. So let's go ahead and see what we're missing. So we want to see if the wave counter is actually ticking down. So we didn't have that visible, but we should have it visible for the sake of testing if something doesn't work. So let's go to a variable. We want to see the wave counter. It starts at 0. We want to show that at the start of the game. And we'll just call it wave counter so we know what we're looking at. And we'll go ahead and put a HUD variable on so we can display that as well. Wave counter, and that's fixed. And if we go ahead and test this out, you can see at the bottom we got wave counter. So if we build a tower and build a tower, you can see the wave counter is 10, and it is counting down. And now it's going to -1. So for some reason it's not stopping. So we need to check it and see if we've got something correct or incorrect in our rule system. Okay, so when we do wave 1, it removes 1 from the counter. Then we got check wave counter, which is here. And it's going to check wave counter, and if it equals to 0, it's going to go next wave. But we don't have anything to turn off the message broadcaster. So the asset spawner. So we've got nothing to turn it off. So we want next wave to be the message that turns off the spawners. And you can do that for all of them. So if we go ahead and duplicate this one for spawner 3, we'll go ahead and do wave 3. And we can turn this on with wave.3, and it turns off with the next wave. And that should complete our mechanics for this part of the tower defense game. We'll do one more test and make sure it all works. We'll build a tower, build a tower. Okay, the game begins in 3 seconds. It adds 10 to the counter. We've already seen this, so now we need to make sure that it works when it hits 0. And I'll build another tower with the money at the end of the wave. Oh, we missed one. So that one's going to lose a life. And you can see the wave counter at the bottom hit 10 again for the next wave. So we're on wave 2, and you can see the names of the NPCs is wave 2. I'll go ahead and build another tower. These guys have a bit more health. So you can see we're losing lives as well as the NPCs reach the end. Now our counters hit 0. We're going to wait. At the bottom it should say 15. There you go, and wave 3 is beginning, and you can see the mobs in wave 3. We also lose as well because we've lost our 10 lives, and you can see the defeat screen has popped up. So I hope this tutorial's been useful, and we'll continue this on the next step. Have a great day.